What's up, everybody? Today we're talking Gabrielle Union, Sue's BET, Janet Jackson's pregnancy, and the birth of a nation's boycott. All that and more on Black Hollywood Lives this week.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Live this week.
Now, you just said that you had it was your business, right? And don't you have to be to work in the morning?
I should be asking you that, brother.
I thought we were boys, man. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want you clowning me, man. I didn't tell anybody. Hey, I didn't even tell the people on my job. Oh, damn.
Tommy, don't go to the job.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Lying, man, about having a damn job, Tommy.
Right. I sent my resume out to a lot of agents. I mean, they all know me, so everybody knows me.
Whatever you say.
That's right.
Meanwhile, why don't you give me your resume, okay? I'll take it to work with me. See, we got some openings coming up. You know,
Tommy!
What?
Come on, man. Why you gonna lie to the brother, man?
No, man, come on, man. You know you ain't got no job, man. Come on.
I don't appreciate you playing with the job system like that.
Coco, don't worry.
All right, if you're
Right?
listening, that is
You can't find
Martin,
the word.
Mr. Tommy Ford, who we lost today, or excuse me, we lost this week. We wanted to give him a little shout out and tribute, and you know, it's a huge loss. I mean, we all grew up watching him on Martin, and you know, words can express the sympathy that we all are experiencing at Black Hollywood Live about this. You know, where were you guys at when you heard about it?
Here, actually.
You were here?
Mm-hmm. And we all sat and we all said we still never found out what he actually did for work.
They never revealed what Tommy's job was.
They revealed what Tommy's deal was. You're right. Well,
I got a question. If each one of you, what do you think Tommy might have did? I think he's probably the telemarketer.
Network marketing.
Network marketing?
Mm-hmm.
Network marketing.
And early, fresh in the 90s.
Tommy was a venture capitalist.
I'm gonna go with that one.
Yes.
But I was at home, and I think that the thing that struck me the most was he's so young. That's so young.
52.
I mean, I realize if you're
52.
18, that sounds really old, but for everyone else on the planet, that's super duper duper young.
Yeah.
So sorry to see him leave this plane so soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, sorry to start on that note, but welcome to Black Hollywood Lives this week. I'm your host, Derrial Christon, and here joining me today is Courtney Stewart. Start off with her.
That's me. You looked at Rachel, and
I know. Rachel did a hair flicker thing. It caught my eye. I was like, oh, what's she about to do up on the camera? Jesse J.
What's up?
And, of course, my girl, Rachel.
Hi. The only thing I think about when I'm doing this is, like, tense your arm. Tense your arm. Don't let the arm wiggle when you're doing it.
Don't let
the arm wiggle.
You're
No.
silly.
Did you learn that, Mr.
no
Jesse?
bingo wings up in here.
Thank you for having me back. I haven't been around for a while.
I know you've been
You've
gone
been
for a couple
traveling,
weeks.
Nice to
working
be
and
back.
stuff.
I know we were like, is she coming back? You know, fans were asking questions.
Love it here. Are you kidding me? I love it here. It's like a
Okay.
second home.
All right, well, our special guest today is actor Cisco Reyes in the house with us.
Yo, what up?
I like that jacket, man. That jacket's,
know.
you know,
Thanks, man. Thanks.
you know, we're finally getting the fall weather in LA. We can wear jackets
Or we're
and
trying to
things now.
pretend, even though it's
We're
like
trying to pretend.
78 degrees. Like,
It's starting to be fall.
It
Yes.
is. A little
trying.
bit. A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, well, so, you know, obviously we started off talking about Tommy Ford, and there's been not an official statement made about what his real cause of death was. There's a couple of things that have been mentioned in press. I know that they were saying that it was something to do to an aneurysm.
Yeah,
in his abdominal.
apparently he had like knee replacement surgery a couple of weeks ago, and they're saying that maybe it was a blood clot that ended up being an aneurysm in his abdomen or something.
So that's like an aneurysm is a blood vessel that bursts. Correct?
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that is a sad thing. It could happen to anyone at any time. And actually, not to be too maudlin, but I was speaking with someone the other day who's, their spouse had passed at 30 from a heart attack. So anyway, I'm just throwing that out there to say let's all value and cherish each other because you just never know. And that particular man had a really full, fabulous life and obviously was meant to leave at this point. But I do take it as a reminder to cherish, especially you.
Take care of yourself.
No, but I mean that. I'm not. Take care of yourself, and also, say I love you and say goodbye when you see people.
It's very important. Martin did make a statement today. He said Tommy was not only a great co-star, he was a great friend. He always brought with him his spirituality, a positive attitude, and so much joy. I am sad the world's lost a great talent and that I lost a brother.
Oh.
So our condolences go out to him, his family, and all of the cast from Martin.
And I was totally wanting like a Martin reunion, and I'm like, oh.
I don't think that was ever going to happen
It probably
anyway.
wasn't, but like you could always
Never
hope
say never.
when they're
all right?
here.
Never
That's
say
true.
never.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Times do get real tough, you know.
You never know.
Yeah.
True that.
Pick up that phone.
Right. Exactly. Well, we got some great topics today to talk
Yeah, we
about.
do.
I mean, we kind of headlined some of those, but I know there's a lot more that we're going to get into today, which are kind of fun. I've been excited about our topics as of late.
You were excited, Derrial?
Why do you not think that I'm excited,
I'm just
Courtney?
asking.
He seems really.
It was a very,
There's like so many sexual
I'm
jokes going
super-
through my head that I cannot say right now. I was like, and then I was like, no, you can't do that. So I didn't.
I'm like,
I did it in my head, right, John? We got it, and he missed it all the way. He was like, wait, you don't think I'm excited?
Sorry, it's the champagne.
What are we talking
Just blame it
about?
on the alcohol.
All right.
What's our first topic
Blame it
about
on
today?
the goose.
Our first topic is a boot. R&B hip hop sensation, the first lady of Ruthless Records.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey. Michel'le.
Yo, all right. So she has a new biopic coming out on Lifetime, which she worked hand in hand with Lifetime for.
Yes, she did.
So I'm kind of excited about this because I feel like it'll actually be like a legit story because the person's actually working with Lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So news has
You
come
say
out.
that like Lifetime does not make the best, juiciest, most fabulous.
They make
Emma,
juicy,
they
fabulous,
they
but they
make
usually do
juicy.
unofficial.
Oh, this is
Tony
authorized.
Braxton didn't work with them on her Lifetime?
Because
story?
I love me a Lifetime movie. I love a
Me
Lifetime.
too.
I love you,
Sunday
Lifetime.
nights on Lifetime are like have
Golden.
been life since I was a kid.
Golden, but no, this is also, isn't this a 3-day thing? It's not just 1 2-hour
No,
thing?
it just
Oh, they doing it like OJ?
Oh, they're just gonna run it.
They're gonna keep running.
Yeah, sorry, I was
Yeah.
confused. But fun fact, I auditioned for her grandmother in this.
Hey,
And-
girl.
no, I did, and the producers went, "Wait, you're not right for this." I was like, I know, straight up.
No, you would not been able to
No,
play
I was
that
like, yeah,
grandmother at all.
I'm the grandma
No.
in the hood.
No, you can't play
Not.
it. No.
Oh, that is what are you talking about? Auditioning
That
for
was
a
the
grandma?
Although I would like to see you play
You
like
totally could
somebody
have
who's
been
a
grandma.
hood
No, you
grandma.
don't. 'Cause I
Actually,
have too
would.
much respect for other actors who can actually be a grandma in the hood. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, I don't know why I'm here, y'all.
You're from South Central, not South.
You be the grandma in the hood making beet juice and almond milk.
No, here's the thing. Not everyone can be a grandma in the hood, and not everyone can play like an old Jewish man from Long Island like I can. Like, that's my specialty.
You do have the curls.
You got the
Boy,
curls.
let me tell you kids something. That is literally my life's calling, is to play an old Jewish man from Long Island. That is what I'm meant to do.
That could be a one-woman show. That's your one-woman show.
But let's say back to Michel'le, who we were talking about
Yes.
before I usurped the conversation.
So we actually had her here on Black Hollywood yesterday. You guys can check out Black Hollywood Live's The Beat. She came in studio. So Dr. Dre has been saying he wants to see what this movie is depicting him as. He feels based off of the clips, or his team is saying that this movie is going to villainize him, and that they are planning on, if it does, taking
Did he base it off the clips or off his like memories of what was happening back
He don't
then?
have no memories. He conveniently forgot that maybe he had smacked a bitch a few times.
I mean, he said he was young and he used to drink a lot.
Are you
did
saying
say
that?
that. He did
But
say
you
that.
say that like that's cool.
No, I'm just saying that he has memories.
I know, just like Billy Bush, he was just a young 35-year-old guy.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay, well,
you
What
know.
is he doing?
The difference is that she's come out to say that he has hit her 5 times, black eye. She's had 5 black eyes from him specifically. He says he's never laid a hand on her ever. She says, bring it on. Like, I don't care. We're going to have to do depositions.
willing
She's
to
like,
go
I
to
have
court.
people who will testify.
I mean, he smacked up D. Barnes.
I was gonna say.
on air. Hello.
Yeah, I mean, she had to go to work with a black eye, and she still talks about it. She did a Huffington Post article.
How long ago was
An
this?
interview like a year ago. Oh, well, it happened in 1991
Yeah.
when she was a host on.
You get to see Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, you get to see. Right.
They didn't show
Exactly.
They didn't show that
see
part, but it was.
that.
You think her voice drove him to it? I mean, could you imagine arguing with her?
How funny.
She arguing with him.
How would you laugh at that, Courtney?
You better.
Don't you talk to me like that! Here's the thing, though, is if that's her story, and if that is her recollection of what's happening, is she not allowed to say, this is my side of the story?
No, she can,
You,
that's why.
Dr. Dre, can do another
Yes.
movie with your
Well,
side of
he
the story.
did Straight Outta Compton.
Right,
They
right.
were involved
I knew
in the
that.
whole process of bringing that out. And one of the big complaints about Straight Outta Compton was that the women in their lives were not represented in
Were
that
not
movie
full characters, yeah.
at all. real for
That's
the most
true.
part. I mean, we just saw Ice Cube's wife, but we didn't like see any real
Right.
interaction with these women and what they meant at the time, and they had pivotal roles, especially Michel'le.
Right.
Yeah.
So go her for doing a
Well,
movie. I'm like,
let
go,
me
girl.
ask you guys this question, because you brought up a subject. that-
And he gonna name his headphones Beats by Dre.
That's already suspicious. You stupid. Put up, no, but I have a serious question about this, because this has been in the media, obviously, even with what's going on with Billy Bush. Do you think that we all have something that we did in the past, right, that we may have regretted or whatever? Do you think that like this is something that if he did do it?
No, I've never beat a woman or physically harmed somebody.
I'm not talking about
Or
that.
grabbed
But I'm
anyone
saying,
by the-
Murdered someone, put a body somewhere at one time.
I hear you.
Do you ever
got
grab anyone by the pussy?
Well,
Talk about that later.
Only if she asked for it.
But my question is, if 10 years ago you did something.
what is something though?
Hey, look, it was Freaknik, 94, man, Atlanta. I couldn't help it. It was crazy out there.
20 years ago, he did hit Michel'le,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes. Okay,
If he
good.
did.
Yes, go ahead.
And if he hit her 20 years ago, but he has gone through therapy, changed his life, all those type of things. And,
Has he?
And I'm just
He's
basically hypothetically.
Okay.
If he has had some changes in his life, and then today he's a changed man, regrets that he did that in his life.
Yes.
Do you think that he still should have that revealed in a
Yes,
movie
and I think
or
what
a
he
show?
should say is that I was not a great healed human being at that time. I have changed since then. I apologize for what I did to that woman at that time. It was awful, and nobody should be treated like that. And I will not be that person ever again. And I'm teaching my daughter to never accept that from a man ever in life. Not, that she don't get to say it. She's villainizing me and fucking up my brand. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You were an asshole.
Yeah,
you hit me.
own
And
it.
that's what
You
you
know
did.
what I
No,
mean?
well said, Courtney, because that's
It's bull-
totally
it's
true.
crap.
Like, that is her story. This is what happened. You don't get to whitewash that or brownwash it or whatever. You don't get to just change the story because it doesn't fit your narrative. And, the other thing is, I'm not making excuses for anyone who hits women. But again, the 90s and 80s, things sort of changed in the 2000s as far as the idea of what we could or could not do to other humans or children, for example.
Their lyrics are
With
bitches
cameras.
ain't shit,
Right.
but hoes and tricks.
No, honestly,
like,
if you were old enough to be cognizant in the 90s, like, I know that was the heyday of videos and all of that, but it was honestly awful as a woman.
Yes.
Really terrible. I mean, it was just women in their titties out and dollar bills, y'all.
They
and
doused that one chick with the 40s and that one
Right.
in the Trey Day video.
Right.
all
I mean,
of that, you can imagine, was not my scene, per se.
What, you went up there?
Was that
you went up there with the bottles? and-
Didn't have enough rhythm.
Doing
No,
this?
also didn't want to be naked.
You didn't have the little things on, the little what do you-
Tassels?
the little
That I might
tassels?
have.
You're
No,
going
no.
too far, Derrial. You have gone too far.
You're gone
Were
too
you
far,
were you
big.
in my house?
This is what she said was at her house last week.
No.
I just imagine Daryl's with like incense and oils, like doing belly dance, Eastern belly dance with nipple tassels.
You guys get out of my house.
See,
You guys gotta hit
now I
the
just got
camera.
half baked in my head all day long with Dave Chappelle singing
Oh, shit.
like, one of my favorite movies.
And I'm not a prude or anything like that, but a lot of the stuff that was going on in those days was very misogynistic, very
absolutely.
anti-woman.
Yeah.
So I think those women have a right to tell their stories. Every little video hoe, and I'm talking from Corinne Steffens to whoever, some unknown girl has a
Yes,
right
that you
to
know
tell
who
her.
Corinne Steffens is.
How can you not know? That
Who don't know Superhead?
That bitch's publicist is gold. Everyone should hire her publicist. No, literally,
You're right about that.
White
Or her
people
business
know her
manager, one of
name.
them.
Yeah.
But you know why white people know her name?
Because she sucked a
Bill
dick.
Maher.
Like, that's crazy.
No,
I was gonna say she
And
dated
she
Bill Maher.
sucked it
That
good.
is the reason we know
sucked it well.
Superhead's
And a
name.
lot of them.
A lot
But
of
no,
them.
sidebar from
not
that.
me,
I'm going
not
to say
me.
this about you. She's a beautiful girl, whatever she did. Not my
beautiful
path. She's a very beautiful girl. Not my path. Not my world. Been and done things I would never want to do, I think. But again, I give kudos to her for, really carving out a niche for herself.
And she has a story and has a right to share that story the same way he has a right to tell his story.
All
how
these
he
women,
came up.
all these women
Okay.
have a right to say their
But
side
here's the
of
thing,
it.
and this is just once again playing devil's advocate. There's no police reports or anything from her
Different times.
filing this, so this is she could be making this up. I'm not saying that she is.
She could.
But she could be making this
She
up. So does he have the
absolutely
right
could.
to then interject and say, you know what, like I don't want this made because
No.
this shit's not
No,
true.
have you ever watched SVU?
From what I read, she said that she didn't want to go to the police because brothers were getting locked up at that time, left and right, and she didn't want to see another brother in jail.
Yeah.
That
Right.
and she believed that
And
she didn't believe
let's keep it
anything
real.
was wrong
That
with
was her meal ticket.
And she didn't, yeah.
Right.
So
that's what I meant by
you locked Dre
It was
up.
a different time.
Right.
Where you at?
Right.
You
No,
ain't even
different-
got a story to tell 20 years
And
later.
in the end, it's America. You can fight her and be like, I don't like that you did this, and take me to court and go ahead.
Defamation
And
or
that's
something
what
like that.
she's saying, like, goes ahead. I have an issue with, I mean, obviously he has to deny it, I guess, if he wants to take her to court eventually,
Sure.
and how it affected his brand and all of that. But the reality is there's enough common knowledge about what he was doing at that time
Yeah.
to not give it plausible deniability. So it's kind of like, you would be more to me if you just straight up said, like, I was up and doing
Yeah.
some wild-ish. Everybody was doing some wild-ish.
I
it
mean,
wasn't
right.
cool.
Pull
I
the
mean,
Trump.
yeah.
Pull the
Different
Trump
time,
card.
you know?
I ain't do it. Wasn't
It's a
me.
different
He
time.
technically even pleaded no contest to and settled out of court with D. Barnes. So
And he apologized when
He did apologize about this,
Straight Outta
yeah.
Compton came
Yeah, he
out. He
did.
was like, I treated women not how I
did.
should have in the past, and I regret that, and I apologize. Like, boo, what
But then
was
you
you
can't
apologizing
go
for?
around and say you ain't hit
Michel'le
nobody.
mentioned that. She said,
And
why
now
are
you're
you
trying to
apologizing and
pretend
saying
like
that
you
didn't do
didn't,
it?
like,
Right.
it's bullcrap, whatever. Ego sucks.
No, it does, because I have a feeling that's not even the biggest part of her MOW. I'm sure it's more about her, you know,
I
than
hope
it is
it's
about her
good.
getting hit.
But it's publicity. It
Yeah.
brings it makes people want to see it, obviously, because we're like, oh, let's see what she says about Dre or what she shows. You know, I mean, it's gonna bring the eyeballs. Doesn't
Well,
matter.
speaking of women sharing their story, there are 5 of them coming out. So obviously we had the second debate with Donald and Hillary.
Sunday.
And my thing is
you,
like,
you call that a debate?
well, first of all, I just keep dying at the meme that's going around them singing.
I had the time of my life. Oh, when I saw that, I was like, yo, that's
Here's
genius.
what I'm more mad at how quickly that came out. Like, someone was watching the debate and was like, fuck this. Let me just make this so that when this is over, pop it out.
I mean, if I knew how to make memes, I would have some amazing
But the
memes. 'Cause
timing
while I was
of it is
watching
genius.
that, I
Oh,
had
you know
so
that.
many thoughts of what I could do, and I was just like, I don't even
Teach
make
her how
a
to
meme.
make
He was like a
It's
little
so
kid,
easy.
man. It
I
was
just
like
don't
watching a
make it.
little kid.
Well, we ain't even
Like-
here to talk about it because honestly, the world wasn't talking about it because, in I believe, true Donald Trump form. To get people from not talking about this important issues, a videotape was mysteriously released 8 years later, right after the debate, in which Donald and Billy Bush.
It was right before the debate.
Right before. And Billy Bush of Access Hollywood were on a bus, and Donald had made some interesting remarks. Talking about grabbing women's genitals, and okay, here we are with the picture. How about a little hug for Bushy?
I just got off the bus. Oh, boy.
Well, so basically, this tape has gone viral. People really aren't making a big thing out of it for Donald. They're making it more bigger about Billy Bush, except these 5 women. We have 2 of them, Rachel Crooks and Jessica Leeds. Jessica Leeds is 74 years old now, but she came out to say that he touched her on a flight in New York back in the 80s. Rachel came out to say that Donald pushed her against a lift and started making out with her. And, you know, the biggest
Mess.
debate is, does this matter? Is this really going to affect people going to the polls? A lot of people are saying, look, they could release several of these videos. This is the type of people are literally saying, like, this is just, it's Donald.
I mean, but you gotta
Just
remember the
boys
people,
being boys.
The people that are voting for Donald are just like Donald.
Exactly.
So like he's the voice of those people in
Right.
Middle America who's like, yeah, I grab pussy all the time. Come here, sis. You know what I mean? Like,
It's true, and also if they put out a tape, like there's theoretically a tape with him saying the N-word, that's only going to galvanize his supporters. It's only going to make them go, I knew he was with us, you know?
Yeah,
So I don't.
but is there enough of them?
There were
that's the
women
point.
who came out after the debate and still said we are Trump supporters.
Yeah.
But that's
Women.
But that's
Yeah,
the big
they did a whole rally, a bunch of women did
Yeah.
a rally.
Yeah.
And there was one dude that
Grab.
said it's better to grab a pussy than be a
Be a
pussy.
pussy.
Right.
Amongst all the women. And the
Right.
women weren't like, that's a bad sign. No, they were like,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
But that's part of if I am obviously not a Trump supporter. I'll give that caveat up front. So that's sort of the positive maybe out of the whole thing is that yes, it only continues to reinforce apparently those people that already support him, except for the people that were fake supporting him, which is like the entire Republican Party, because they've all sort of started to like jump ship.
Exactly.
But the point is that he was not going to be able to win unless he was able to persuade enough people that are in the middle and haven't really decided they don't love Clinton, but they are not sure about Trump. And it appears, at least right now, that tape was enough to make people be like, dog, nah.
But again, the thing that I think some of the memes that I like the best that were coming out around over this topic is like literally he could be racist, he could be this, he could be that, but it took him talking about a white lady's pussy for you people to react.
Hey, it's America!
You know?
Right, welcome to
Get rid of the
America.
Latinos.
I mean,
Let's go, baby.
Hey,
Let's
white
go,
pussy is
American
gold,
Express visa.
Okay, you know, that's the gold
But honestly, do you
standard.
feel like they're really like I feel like every headline I read is more like it's a joke. Like, yeah, Donald Trump make a
It's
t-shirt
locker room
about it.
talk.
But it's like more so against like, well, should we actually keep Billy Bush on the Today Show?
Well, isn't
Or
it
Good
official?
Morning
Like
America?
he's in talks to depart. Like they're trying to figure out contractually how
he's fighting it.
But they knew he was
sue them.
mic'd.
Yes.
They recorded it all.
Yeah, he's saying
You know what
that
I mean?
that someone from NBC illegally leaked
Well,
it,
yeah,
pretty
because the
much.
point is that NBC has had the tape for months,
Yeah.
and they knew about it, and they were
Years.
just trying to figure
And they
out.
were
Well,
saying-
they knew about it for months,
And they're saying,
but they
why
were
is he
trying to
doing it?
edit him out.
Right.
But people at NBC were upset, like lower people, and that's who leaked it to the Washington Post,
Right.
and that's why
Right.
now NBC is upset because they were trying to like moderate how Billy was perceived because Billy was being groomed to take
Right.
over for Matt Lauer at Today's Show.
Ew.
So.
Yeah, but here's
Listen,
my
Billy
thing.
Bush is definitely being used as a scapegoat, but he
absolutely.
kind of deserves it a little bit.
But you,
for,
but
like,
you
totally
did
agree.
it,
I've
dude.
heard-
Like
Yeah.
you.
But
Sorry.
to go back to your point, Derrial, so Billy's coming out and saying, this is ridiculous. Like NBC's known that, I'm like this with women, and I'm that kind of a guy. Like
He's the one that bragged
How?
about the tape, by the way, which is what made people go back and look for it.
So he brought it on himself.
The rumor is that he was bragging about it in Rio, and that's what made people go into the vault and like find it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how.
Like my thing, Billy,
that's
is
what you're saying.
okay.
Because he was
like,
a cocky bastard.
just because you've been doing something bad for years, now it's come to light, and now it needs to be stopped. Like, no, you shouldn't have been promoted with something like this. Like, now to put you on national television, especially in this light.
On Today's Show, where the demographic is primarily
It's
women.
disgusting.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, though, because a lot of people were saying that, okay, this is all going down, but I was actually surprised that NBC was negotiating him leaving, because I thought they were going to kind of do a Brian Williams move, where it was going to be he disappears for a little bit, and then he
Well,
pops
they
up
tried.
in January, February,
Do people
March.
really like Billy Bush like that? Like, is it a thing? Who? Is someone just sucking his dick? Is he sucking someone's dick? Like, I'm just trying to figure out. Like,
No, I don't.
I mean,
He might be sucking somebody's dick.
I try to watch, and I'm just like, what is it about? Like, put Ryan Seacrest wherever he needs. This guy needs to be like.
Ryan don't have time
I
for
mean,
that.
I know
He
it,
got
but I'm
too
just
much going
saying,
on.
like, wow.
I mean, they, he's
Like, is it the 1950s or something? Like, why is this man so popular?
classic white
I don't think
man.
he was or is that popular. I think he just got caught up in this. I know he's on those shows, so obviously he's a
Where'd he come
successful
from?
host.
He was
He's
at
a
Access
Bush.
Hollywood.
Access Hollywood. He's done
and then
all
he
like
was on Access Hollywood
the
Live.
pageant show.
He's
the,
a nephew
Miss,
of Bush.
Is it Miss Universe or Miss
That's what I
USA?
figured.
Yeah,
right?
he's a
He's
Bush.
Jeb Bush's cousin.
Yeah, he's like, you didn't know he's
Oh, that's
a
right.
Bush.
I forgot
say no
about
more.
Bush. Bush.
Like,
I'm not
he's
saying
right.
that's the only reason.
Get rid of
I forgot about
him.
that. See ya, get out of here, kid.
We don't need no more Bush.
Honestly,
Wax 'em.
no one's talked this much about Billy Bush ever.
Exactly.
Ever.
But
He's
do you think that he'll be able
inconsequential.
to come back from this in his career?
Well, I was actually shocked that he like made the transition to Today's Show to begin with. Even though it was like third hour or fourth hour or something at the time, like I was like, how did that happen? But now I don't know. Like I feel like we're in a shifting of times. Like in general, like the acceptability of certain things. Like oh, it's locker room talk. Like ain't nobody taking that shit no more. Like and I
Right.
feel like we're just in a phase that there's too much bull crap going on that people are like, no, it's not okay. You know
Right.
what? We tired of this shit.
Yeah.
Go sit your ass down
Well, also
somewhere.
this white male, rapey jock
Yeah.
frat boy persona is hopefully dying out too. You know what I'm
Hopefully.
That's
saying?
rapey job.
I mean,
Listen.
no,
You didn't hear them athletes? They were like, actually, we don't talk like that.
Right,
In the locker room.
No,
Listen,
we talked
GMA,
about trying
there
to
are
get
4
it.
diverse, great hosts right here. We
It's
are
not
available.
GMA, that was Today's Show.
I mean, today.
That's
Sorry,
fine.
sorry,
Either
sorry,
or, I'll
sorry.
work
Today's
for
show.
you there.
Today's show.
I'll
Sorry,
even,
today's show.
get up early.
Hey, I could use a check too.
Today's show.
Amen.
Today's show.
Amen.
we adopting Cisco.
But back back to this. Like, obviously, we're talking more about Billy Bush than we are about the Trump P-word scandal has already faded away. It happened on Friday. It's already dead old news, frankly. You know what I mean?
Not
watch
dead
TV
because he won't let it die. He did a press conference today that he said it is an existential conspiracy of.
Did he use the word existential?
He used the word existential, and I was like, he made me say the N-word in my car. I was like, this just said what? He said it's an existential conspiracy of the political machine to keep him from getting into office.
I think Donald just does like a political Mad Libs
is out of his mind. He's actually out of his mind.
He's like a living color. David Wayne's locked up. He's like, it's a conspiracy against my election to be president.
Wait, by the way, sidebar back to the sniffles. Like, does he have a coke habit or what?
No.
Yeah, them sniffles were off the chain.
The body language expert on CNN said it was just his way of enunciating a point.
Yeah, that's what it
Anytime
said,
he felt like he was making a really strong point,
he would sniffle.
But I couldn't
It's almost
even
like
get
a
that.
nervous.
So like Obama goes like this.
Yeah,
and
it's like his nervous tick. He's a sniffer.
Yeah. Or like I used to have a college professor who would grab his jock. He would grab his jock. Yeah, he would.
I'd be
Every
like,
time
so
he
you
made a
can't
point,
work at my
he would have
school.
suits on, and he would like. He didn't realize, but he would grab his stuff.
No, that's fucking inappropriate. Like,
I mean, he didn't know he was doing it.
I would have transferred out.
Yeah, I do. I see you doing it. I'm like, can you please stop?
I would raise my hand, and be like, did you realize you just grabbed it?
Can we
Listen,
also just talk
I know we got to move to other points, but I also want to throw this in. What I also thought was interesting is the fact that they kept talking about the story of Donald Trump hitting on the married Nancy who was in entertainment, and it was Nancy.
It was Nancy O'Dell. It was Billy Bush's partner that he was talking disgusting about.
And then she made the statement, and then I was like, if this doesn't take him under, nothing will. And it still didn't take him under. It still didn't take him under.
He knows.
Wait, I want to throw in though, because there was also a little bit added about this, how Donald Trump, they have footage of him. I'm not sure if it's video footage or audio footage. I think it's video where he's looking at a child, a 10-year-old girl, going, isn't she gorgeous? I'll be dating her in 10 years. You sexualized a young child. Now I want you to think about if that was your child.
I mean, he sexualizes his own daughter, so he's gross. Like he's
right. And so to me, that's actually repugnant.
Ivanka is hot though. I gotta give it to the.
Yeah, but not
when you're her dad. Like, you don't get to do that. Like, even if you think it, you
Sorry,
can
Cisco, I just had my own personal moment with Ivanka. I forgot about her.
But you can have my daughter, right?
And you
No, he's a dad.
Oh,
She's
yeah, that's right.
phenomenal.
He is her
She's
dad.
6 foot. She's always been fully endowed with those breasts.
No,
like, you
all
don't
of
say
it.
that shit.
I once dated a guy who kept talking about his beautiful sisters, and they're so gorgeous, and everything about them, and their hair. And I just thought, stop it, you're freaking me
Maybe
the
Donald
F
has
out
dementia.
Right now.
Like, he sounds like my grandmother at times. Like, maybe it's dementia.
Further proof he should not be running.
No,
for
exactly.
president.
You know?
All right, I think we beat this topic to the dead horse. So
beat
let's-
it.
Wait, how about also that
Billy
he
Bush.
told everyone to go out and vote November 28th?
28th. 20 days after you're supposed to.
Good, go out
Actually,
there.
go vote for him.
Vote for him that day. That's perfect, actually.
No, they're gonna vote online because we're up in the polls. All these online.
Obviously, people watching this show probably are not voting for Trump. But if you're as a woman and you value your women rights and reproductive rights, you know his running mate is the one who wanted to say that if you did unfortunately have to have an abortion, you had to have a funeral for the child you aborted.
That would be my Pence.
So let's just think about that for a second. You know, I mean, these are women's rights issues here. So get out there and vote,
Well,
people.
if that's a gun buying stock in the funeral home.
I know that's right.
Anyway, all right,
What's up there,
Just
Courtney?
saying.
That shouldn't be funny, but that is a mess for so many reasons.
Yeah, I'm mad you announced it actually because I wanted to go and do that shit like when we left.
Well,
so
my
nobody
brother's
knew.
a funeral director.
Oh, listen, look, we'll talk offline.
He about to get paid.
Let us know what those stock options are.
Oh my God.
All right, Courtney.
In other ways of getting paid. Wait, are we doing that? Okay,
Yeah,
no, we're not.
that's it.
Okay.
We're going to do it a little later.
Okay, we're gonna do
It's
that
on
later.
Netflix.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about Netflix.
I was like, wait, what are you guys talking about? I was like, wait, what?
I'm sorry, I'm so stuck on the funerals. Okay, so we're gonna move on to a serious topic. Okay, so there were two amazing movies that were sort of out in the ether this week and this past weekend that some people went to see and some people were bragging about and some people didn't really go see. So first up we had 13th, which is a documentary on Netflix that like had social media going insane, which actually it didn't just come out this weekend, so I don't know what it was about this particular weekend that it blew up. But social media was going nuts. It's a documentary. Essentially, it's called 13th because it sort of based around the evolution of the prison system and racism.
Directed by Ava DuVernay.
Directed by Ava DuVernay, and it the 13th Amendment, for those of you all that do not know, is the amendment that abolished slavery, and the amendment is specifically worded very specifically that maybe you haven't really thought about, so I'm going to read it to you really quickly. Quote, the 13th Amendment says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So the key little words in there are except as punishment for a crime, and it sort of chronicles, the documentary chronicles how basically crime, punishment has sort of become the new slavery for people of color in the United States. Most of us are fully aware of that to a certain degree, but the level to which we are aware of it is next level when you watch this documentary. And I consider myself a fairly informed person. I've read the new Jim Crow. I'm fully aware of how sort of the Reconstruction sort of translated into Jim Crow and how things have evolved over the 20th century and into the 21st century, even to Bill Clinton and Miss Clinton when y'all had y'all super predator shit in the 90s.
I like when you said Clinton.
You know, because y'all was on some bullshit then in 1994. But
That's
like,
true.
I consider myself fairly informed of it.
Yeah.
But when I watched this documentary, I promise you, like, I literally was mouth agape and didn't even know what to do with myself at the end of it. Like, I recommend it fully. Like, it was definitely trending on Twitter. Go check it out. It really lays out corporations, money, crime, and racism in a way that you maybe didn't really fully embrace or acknowledge or really was aware of. So I would definitely recommend check it out. It was fantastically done, and I talking about it now, like I want to cry and I'm holding it in.
I can see you getting a little emotional
it was like, I'm not moved easily by stuff, especially films and stuff like that. Like, I sit through lots of stuff and I watch everything, and I take it in, and I'm pretty well read, and things don't like shift me that much. That movie shifted my entire, like, I literally sat on my bed at the end of it, and it's heartbreaking, it's mind-opening, it's revelatory, like, it's a great job. Well done, Ava DuVernay. Check it out, guys.
I'll check it out.
Also, another film that was very moving, but I would venture to say not as moving for me, at least, as the 13th documentary was Birth of a Nation, which came out, which we'd been waiting for. We got to see it at the Calabasas Film Festival.
If you're saying 13th, what is 13th, more moving? Because you know the way we were at the end of Birth of a Nation, we all sat there for like 10 minutes afterwards and didn't speak.
Birth of a Nation was intense. I feel like 13th sort of brings Birth of a Nation front and center in a capitalistic America in a way that you just don't want to think, because you don't want to believe that it exists, even if you know it exists. Like, you don't want to believe it exists the way that it does.
How do you think we get kids and people to realize that it does actually go that way? Because the reason I'm asking is when I was a small child and my parents, my stepmother was like, the world is very racist and they don't like black people, and I was like, she doesn't know, she doesn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you're a kid and you're like, no, you don't understand that things have changed. And now I'm like, she was so right.
Yeah.
She was 1,000% right. And I know I had to have that naivete to kind of be okay at that moment, but we need to start actually taking it in, and so we can change it.
But I think part of it is that as people, we want to believe the best of people even when we know the worst can exist.
Right.
And I think that the idea that the worst is almost independent of people, because there comes a point where racism and systemic racism becomes its own organism, and people that are participatory in it aren't even aware of how participatory they are in it.
Nice
and
word.
it takes on its own life. And to tackle it, and I think the thing that was overwhelming, at least about 13th, is to tackle it seems so overwhelming and impossible.
Right.
Because it's such a separate thing from who we are. It's like sort of when the group becomes its own organism and turns into something that it never was to begin with. Because as individuals, that's not who we are. But as a group, it has become its own being. And what do you do about that? So I feel like Birth of a Nation was the root of how that was. And we feel like because we went to Civil War, people died, and there were, things done about it, and, we had the 13th Amendment, then we had the Civil Rights Movement, like, there was something to tackle. 13th takes it to the next level, and it's scary because they also they leap to now because there's lots of footage about what's going on right now in terms of policing and that kind of thing, and the people that have died at the hands of police, and the idea of what the next level is going to be in terms of this new slavery idea, because we're tackling criminal justice technically in this country, and they're closing down this whole like private prison system that has been supporting the corporation. However, they're turning right now to home policing, where people are, okay, you're sentenced to whatever, so you have to wear a GPS anklet in your own home and that kind of thing. And what does that mean for the corporations making the GPS bracelets? What does that mean for the government being able to track you? Money. So it's sort of like, who's the next sort of beneficiary of the slavery of black people and black and brown people, and it's insane. But anyway, so Birth of a Nation also in the box office. It was really beautiful. We sat through it in the Calabasas Film Festival. It was great. It did not do very well at the box office. It only made $7 million.
Here's the thing. It's not doing what it expected to do, per se, but it's still not...
They're not puppet. They're not the promotion.
You're not promotion. Yeah, they're not doing the promotion.
They actually spent $10 million on marketing for this film, and that's what they say.
They say they did, right?
Don't get into, this is for Birth of a Nation.
There's been tons of press on Birth of a Nation.
There have been tons of press for Birth of a Nation, and that's why it's sort of a disappointment. However,
do you really think that the rape scandal is the thing that is stopping people from going to see it?
I think it's a combination.
I think it's a percentage of it.
And then Roland Martin made his statement this week.
Roland Martin has blamed black women for the demise of Birth of a Nation's box office numbers, which was the most insulting thing ever. And I'm not going to get into it because we don't have time. But check out blackgirllonghair.com if you want to read a really great article about why black women are the people that actually supported this film. And of the 60% of black people that 60% of the audience was black, and most of them were women that actually went to see the film. So you were full of shit, Roland Martin, and it's insulting that he said that. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. This was multi-layered as to why the film probably didn't do as well. People are saying that perhaps word of mouth will continue to help it sort of build some financial recoupment at the box office. But my personal opinion is the last 3 interviews that Nate Parker did, he put himself in the grave with all of that. And allegedly, if you saw 60 Minutes and when he did the Today Show.
You should have listened to Oprah.
The rumor is that Oprah had told him
to... He should have listened to Oprah.
Not do those interviews.
Oh, she said don't do it.
Oprah told him to sit down with Gail months ago and have a really intense, have a good... He denied that interview and went ahead with this press tour that he did 3 days leading into the film. And I'm Team Nate Parker. I'm trying to be there for you, brother, because I think you made a good film. I do think you also inappropriately raped a woman that you got away with, but that's irrelevant to me at this point. You were acquitted of that crime. You were proven not guilty. You are free. I have to accept that in my life, and I think your work was well done. However, when he did the 60 Minutes interview 3 days before the movie, and then the next morning he was on a morning show, and the amount of ego.
It's a lot of ego.
It was overwhelming, and I'm on your team, and I was like, brother, whoa. And I get you can't be like, yes, I raped this woman, and I'm sorry. Because you were acquitted, and you're not trying, and you don't think that you did anything wrong. It was no good. It did not help at all. And one really cool thing, because we've talked about Oscars Are So White, the controversy for the last 2 years at the Oscars, they had a screening for Birth of a Nation, which is supposed to be a huge Oscar contender. And of the 1,000 seats in this theater, only 200 were filled, and a few of the sort of Oscar voters or whatever were interviewed. One of them specifically was quoted as saying, they felt that they were being forced to choose this film as a great film for the year because it was black people, and they refused, after hearing about what he did, they refused to do that, and they won't even go see the film or vote for it.
They were African American. Were they African American?
Listen, the thing about
a white person, because they were offended for being called racist for not having voted for black films and black actors in the last 2 years, and they felt like they were being sort of force-fed Birth of a Nation.
They should have gone to see it.
That's just another excuse that they can use.
No, they should have gone to see it. We've always had to separate artists from art, from the art they make. We have one of the first scenes I ever did was a Rainer Fassbinder scene, and when I realized he was a German Nazi, I was like, shit, do I do this scene? do I not do? And then I was like, well, it's a really good scene and it has nothing to do with Nazis, so I'm going to do this scene. So that is two separate things. So I feel like they should have actually gone and
But
seen
do
the
all these
film.
people who are upset look at the products that they're using? Do they look at the clothing
Right,
that they're
they're
using
not
and see
looking
where
at
that stems
you know
from?
what,
The owner of what company
Home
raped
Depot
who
is
or did
supporting
what?
Trump, so keep shopping there
Well,
right now.
and not that I agree 100% with this, but I kind of see the point that Roland Martin was making, because he said that black people are sort of a cause to the reason that we can't complain about Oscars so white when we aren't supporting this film. And
We aren't voting for the Oscars. That's why that was nonsense. We are not on the team. I'm sorry. I'm actually really angry at what Roland Martin said, because he specifically said black women and black feminists tanked this film. When black women
I
are
don't
the
agree with that. I
main
don't
women,
agree
the
with
people, they were the primary audience of this film and still supporting it. Even if 3 or 4 of them, like Demetria Lucas, and I can't think of the other 2 or 3 names that came out, not even criticizing. They were actually confused as to what they should do about Nate Parker. Like, I don't know why I gotta feel like I need to support my brother, but at the same time, what he did was kind of shitty. So they questioned it.
I know, but here's my only thing with this: is several of my black friends are more excited to. They were more excited to go see No Diss to This, Medea's Boo, than they were.
But my thing is,
to
That's
see-
more about
to
your
see-
friends.
Maybe you're right.
My other question
Listen,
to you guys
maybe.
is, as millennials, I mean, do you think, like, we've talked about this before, are we in a time where it's like people are over going and seeing the Slave movie versus like a Loving movie, the movie Loving I just went and saw?
Ain't nobody gonna go see Loving.
Yeah.
No, ain't no one gonna
Nobody's
see
gonna see it,
that.
but it's excellent. But
It was good,
excellent.
but I'm just saying, but like with something like that where the story's more relevant to the fact of like the kids of today can understand that exact connection and kind of wake people up versus going and seeing a timepiece.
What do you think, Cisco?
I mean, right now, like, the whole topic of slavery in films is big. And you got the Roots, you got the Underground,
Right.
you got this. At least, I mean, I have not seen this yet, and I will go see it, but at least I heard that people left the theater feeling empowered, opposed to, like, damn, I need to go. Like, slavery was bad. You know what I mean? At least they felt, they left that theater with a feeling of empowerment.
Yeah.
You know, so, and every time an artist makes some great art, for lack of better words, but they have a bad personality, they have the bad traits to them, that always overshadows everything. And it's like, come on, like you said it earlier, you got to be able to separate the art from the person. Yeah, people looked at Michael Jackson. You're gonna try to tell me that Michael Jackson couldn't sing? His albums were horrible,
Right.
even though he might have, or we don't know. You know what I mean? We have no idea. So sometimes you just got to look at the art for what it is when it comes to the Oscars. No matter what, they have to look at it for the art piece that it is.
Yeah.
And not, oh, well, I don't like this guy. That has nothing to do with it. There's a lot of people out here. Lady Gaga's a weirdo. Her music's great, though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
that's true. Yeah.
You know, Lil' Kim, I don't know what she did to herself. You know what I mean? But she can spit.
Yeah.
I just saw her last week at the Bad Boy Reunion tour. I'm still on cloud 9. I got my 112 and Carl Thomas in the radio right now.
You know?
All right, well, we got to move on
Yes,
because we only have
we
like
do.
literally like 5 minutes. Yeah, let's go to Gabrielle Union. We're going to skip a little bit. But before we get to that, you got something to say about...
So you already know, DraftKings sports season. You know how much I love me some football. So went to DraftKings.com, registered as DJ Jesse J. And what's that you say? You guys want to win some more money? Well, every week at DraftKings.com, it's like a new season of fantasy
Yes,
football.
it
So you can sign up. You can revive old rivalries, new rivalries, whatever you want. You can pick whoever you want.
Play anytime you want.
If someone hurt, it don't even matter. You can
Pick
still
somebody
use
else.
them.
Pick a new player, switch it up.
But the coolest part is, so you can try their new 50-50 contest where the top half of all entries wins cash.
There we go.
See, I like that.
That's 50-50. That means
The top
I like
you
that I got a
have-
strong chance.
That's
to be
two
able to win
chances.
that.
You only
Yeah.
got either
That's better
A
than a
or B.
lottery ticket.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Also, even if your current fantasy team is circling the drain, you can still win huge cash prizes at DraftKings.com. So don't wait. Start your new season at DraftKings.com now. Use the code Geek. We changed it. Make sure you guys use the code GEEK and play free with your first deposit. DraftKings.com. Eligibility restrictions.
You're so excited you can't even say it all.
Yes, I'm just so excited because I signed up. Or I literally signed up today before we did the show. I was like,
He did.
He legitimately did. We're gonna get Rachel to play
I
too.
never watched football, but I'm
Rachel,
I love gambling.
Great. All right, we're gonna move on to our last story of the day. Our EUR Web Story Spotlight of the Week. Sorry for everybody who's listening and watching. We're going to have to go through this really quick because we are running out of time. But Miss Gabrielle Union is in the news. She is obviously the star of Being Mary Jane, which is killing it, doing very well. It was. I don't know if it's going to change now, but she is apparently suing BET, and this is the reason why. According to Union's attorney, Marty Singer, they allege that BET is trying to film 2 10-episode seasons of Being Mary Jane back-to-back in an effort to cram all the episodes into one single season in order to fraudulently, I can't say that word, extend the terms of Miss Union's contract. Now, here's some more details with this. The filing claim between BET is that they agreed to her that she was only going to have to do 13 episodes, ideally 10, but no more than 13 episodes. Union did not want to commit to a typical network schedule because she wanted to do films. She was in Birth of a Nation. She wanted to have time to do that. The general manager or general counsel of BET, Darryl Walker, who assured Union that she would only be doing a certain amount of shows, he's no longer there or no longer involved.
Sidebar to any episodes over 13 means she would get paid more money.
She would get paid more money.
For those extra episodes. They're trying to say, no, we're going to pay you the same amount that you got for the first 10, not the bumped up version you would have gotten for your second season. So we're talking about a lot of money here.
A lot of money here. She started off making $15,000 and went all the way to $150,000, and then she was going to go to $165,000.
How much did she start at?
$15,000.
Shut up.
$15,000 per episode.
I could have put her in a web series for that much.
Well, listen, can we be in that web series? But
she gonna tank BET if she wins.
Well, okay, so they say the corporate policy required Union's performer agreement that she had agreed to doing a minimum of 10 and a maximum of 26. So there's some fine line in that whole contract. But BET feels that they are within contractual rights and that, they feel confident about what's going on with this. What do you guys feel about it?
I feel like that's the star of your show, and
Do you think the show could survive without it?
No.
I don't
She's
think
Mary Jane.
gonna survive without Mara.
That's so.
Yeah, well, I have a friend who's Patrick Polk who did Noah's Ark, and he's a new writer on that show. So I really hope that it carries on for him and Michael, who's the Ely, who they just had.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, Michael Ely's adding.
Right.
This is season 4. Wait, what season?
Is it considered 4?
I think they said he's adding to season 4.
But here's what I'll say: it just
I think it's 3.
Whatever shakes down will be what's legally written. If she has an agreement that said I do 10 or I do 13, let's just say 10 to make it round. If I do 10 episodes and then any over 10, I get 15 extra thousand per episode. Then if that's in her agreement, she should absolutely get that, because if it was vice versa, the network would, want everything that they want, and you have to honor your contract. That's what I know.
BET is saying that they go up to 23. They said up 26. to 26.
But if that's an oversight, then she should probably fire her lawyer or agent, whoever negotiated the original contract. Because again, whoever has the words in writing is the one who wins this. And I hope it carries on.
Read those lines.
It's BET's best show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Isn't it like their only real show? Right?
Only real show. And I love Gabrielle, but I think that's some of her best work too.
It is definitely some of her best.
I would agree with
that.
So
I would rather see her in this than just in random
movies.
Yes.
Romantic comedies.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it works out I hope it works out in her favor so she can continue on, because if it doesn't, she's probably not going to want to continue on and do the show anymore, huh?
Yeah.
And I think the more African black shows we have on TV, the better, frankly. So I'd rather see this stay on the air.
I agree, but there's a lot of competition out now, so hopefully they can.
I know they put brown folks everywhere. Congratulations to
TV is filled with some brown folks.
For all we know, Gabrielle is doing this because she wants off this, because she's got a movie trio she could be doing instead of working for
or she might have another network show that wants her.
That could be it
Listen,
too.
she had an ABC deal for years and years, so this BET thing was actually great because the ABC deal never worked. She had some shows in the air, but they never grabbed. This one is stuck, so I hope it works for her.
Well, we wish you the best, Gabrielle. Either way, you are a star. Good luck. And we'll be reporting on what happens. Last thing I'm just going to throw in, because we were going to talk about this, but I'll just mention it because it's really a mention. Janet Jackson is officially pregnant at 50. She has revealed it. Well, I thought we already knew
Thank
this.
you.
Well, we
Thank you.
heard
it.
but
She
we
did
never
the little,
actually saw it.
She did the
She got the
video when
pregnancy.
she stopped her tour in
wish
April
I-
and said that she was planning her family, but now she's officially announced that she did a spread in People magazine with her belly and her
belly out.
Demeter Joe braids.
Congratulations, Janet.
Congratulations, Janet.
Get it, girl.
I'm just so mad that like the picture looks like a frickin' like Skechers commercial.
I know.
I feel like eyewear though. I feel like it's
It looks like an eyewear.
Yeah,
Like
eyewear.
a
Some type of
stock
eyewear.
photo that you
Yes,
can
it
find
does.
on the
Yes,
web.
and
But
it
good
does.
for her.
But good for her. She looks
She's having
amazing.
a baby girl. And shout out to Ben and Jerry's for supporting Black Lives Matter because that's another
Shout out to them.
That's right. Thank you,
right.
Ben and
And-
Jerry's.
Cisco, just really quick, what new film are you doing so fans can find you and give your social media?
You can check me out on up and coming All Eyes on Me Tupac flick.
Hey.
We're very excited about that, by the way.
It's gonna be a good
What are you playing in that?
Up in the prison scenes, I'm like one of the leader of the Latino gang.
Oh,
up in there.
snap.
Okay.
And then I got Compton's Finest with Malik Whitfield, John Amos coming out, and Be Somebody as well, and also Four Kings. That's being shopped around right now by Sony TV.
Okay.
So you're a working man.
Working.
Quick question as we're leaving out though, with the Tupac movie, did you learn something about Tupac that you didn't know before?
Yeah, actually I did. There's the moments that he had with his mom are like phenomenal in the movie. And the guy Demetrius Shipp, big ups to you, and Benny Boom that directed the movie. They showed a different side of Tupac that the documentaries don't show. You know, the relationship between him and Biggie that wasn't all turmoil. They were really good friends.
Yeah.
Him being born in New York to Baltimore and then Oakland. So West Coast always claiming Tupac.
Right.
Show East Coast.
But yeah.
Baby, New York stand up.
He was. I mean, that's true. That's true. And I heard that Faith actually, the storyline between him and Faith and that controversy is a heavy part of the movie too.
It's not a lot, but they do put it in there.
Okay.
And they show the relationship between him and Jada, which is really cool. And the girl that played Cat Williams, her name's Cat, but she killed it. She killed it as Jada. Jada
All right, cool. Where can fans find you on social media?
At Cisco Reyes on everything. CISCO Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,
Snapchat.
Everywhere.
Follow Cisco. Check out all his programs. We're gonna have him back because I know we had to cut it short a little bit today. We got a little heavy in our topics.
A little
heavy in our cups.
We got heavy in our cups, angry in our topics, and everything else. Courtney, where can fans find you?
Sorry, y'all, I was in my feelings today, but you can find me
That's all right, the
everywhere
fans like
at
it when you
Stuart
do that.
Starlet.
Everywhere at DJ Jesse J.
Rachel True on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at True Rachel True.
She just like saying that. I don't even know how do I follow up from that. You can find me at Derrial Christon. That's true. No, you can find me at Derrial Christon on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Derrial Christon, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African-American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
Damn it, I missed it.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.